everyone. My name is Mayan Abiharan and I am here to advocate about how a person should behave basing the 4 pillars of education. Having good social behavior or etiquette can make your life much more enjoyable. People will respond well to you and enjoy being around you if you have some basic knowledge of proper ways to act around others. Some ways to learn good social behavior are understanding your audience, having good body language, improving your conversation skills, and dressing appropriately. Revisiting the 4 pillars of learning. In order that the essence of the 4 pillars of learning be appropriately interpreted, a brief snapshot follows of what each relates to in terms of educational context and in the society. The first pillar of education is learning to know. This type of learning is radically different from acquiring itemized codified information or factual knowledge as often stressed in conventional curriculum and in rote learning. Rather, it implies the mastering of instruments of knowledge themselves, acquiring knowledge in a never-ending process, and can be enriched by all forms of experience. Therefore, as a person and as a student, acquiring knowledge and how to behave in a society is a must. Learning to know includes the development of the faculty of memory, imagination, reasoning, problem solving, and the ability to think in a coherent and critical way. It is a process of discovery which takes time and involves going more deeply into the information or knowledge delivered through subject teaching. If you will know how you must behave in public or in a certain society, then it would be easier for you to think and be cautious enough on what to do. For example, knowing to create communities of caring. Anything that people can do to create a community of caring is going to make a difference. To know that there are people that they can go to if something is troubling them. To know that if the family is experiencing resource problems, there are systems in place to get them not just temporary assistance, but back on a track to being able to provide for their family in a stable way. Learning to know presupposes learning to learn, calling upon the power of concentration, memory, and thought so as to benefit from ongoing educational opportunities continuously arising throughout life. Therefore, learning to know can be regarded as both means and unending learning itself and in life. As a means, it serves to enable individual learners to understand the very least enough about nature, about humankind and its history, about his or her environment, and about society at large. As an end, it enables the learner to experience the pleasure of knowing, discovering, and understanding as a process. The second pillar of education is learning to do. This pillar of learning implies in the first place of application of what learners have learned or know into practices. It is closely linked to vocational technical education and work skills training. However, it goes beyond narrowly defined skills development for doing specific things for practical tasks in the society. For example, if you know that assisting others is an important aspect of being a good student in society, you should do it. Offer assistance to your parents and neighbors. It shows that your behavior with them is good because you are obeying by helping them in their work. So, you are already doing specific tasks that is crucial in behaving well in society. Learning to do thus implies a shift from skill to competence or a mix of higher order skills specific to each individual. Thus, learning to do means, among other things, ability to communicate effectively with others, aptitude toward teamwork, social skills in building meaningful interpersonal relations, adaptability to change in the world of work and in social life, competencies in transforming knowledge into innovation and job creation, and a readiness to take risks and resolve or manage conflicts. The third pillar of education is learning to live together. How to participate in the creation of the future, learning to live together. Living and working with others, presenting propositions, participating in plans and projects, celebrating achievements in family and at work. This is the direction of fundamental learning. In the educational, the same learning applies. Therefore, it is essential to learn to live with others with respect to dignity, diversity, skills of one and the other, and to exclude bullying from social life. For example, if you have neighbor or even classmates who have different views or you're different in religion, you should respect it, of course, in order to have harmonious society. Work on projects of common interest, which implies a new attitude towards oneself, the other, and reality. The discovery of the other allows us to know each other better because it involves acting in the field of attitudes and values. Empathy enters this game, knowing that it is possible to put one another's place and learn that peaceful coexistence can be a way to achieve a better future. The deepening of the teaching of religious, ethnic, and cultural diversity can be fundamental for this learning because knowledge is an active instrument in changing behavioral paradigms. Conflicts lose strength and make room for the construction of a cohesive, harmonious, and happy group, being a reference for future life. The last pillar of education is learning to be. This type of learning was first conceptualized in the report of UNESCO in 1972, Learning to Be. Out of the fear that the world would be dehumanized as a result of technical change, it was based on the principle that the aim of the development is the complete fulfillment of man in all the riches of his personality, the complexity of his forms of expression, and his various commitments as an individual, member of a family and a community, citizen and a producer, inventor of techniques, and creative dreamer. Learning to be may therefore be interpreted in one way as learning to be human through acquisition of knowledge, skills, and values conducive to personality development in its intellectual, moral, cultural, and physical dimensions. This implies a curriculum aiming at cultivating qualities of imagination and creativity, acquiring universally shared human values, developing aspects of a person's potential memory, reasoning, aesthetic sense, physical capacity, and communication or social skills, developing critical thinking and exercising independent judgment, and developing commitment and responsibility. It is important to note that the 4 pillars of learning relate to all phases and areas of education. They support and interpenetrate one another and should therefore be applied as basic principles, cross-cutting themes, and generic competencies for integration in and across subject areas or learning domains. Let us also be reminded that living in peace is a way of life in which we respect and love each other in spite of our cultural, religious, and political differences. Inwardly, each one of us needs to cultivate peace. With the use of the 4 pillars in education, in behaving in the society, I know that the world would be a great place where negativity can never grow and foster. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you have gained another knowledge for today. Have a great day and goodbye.